my name is Erin and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my February book haul. So before I show you the books, one thing I wanted to state as kind of a goal for myself that's wrapped up in this book haul, because stating goals helps me achieve them better, is to be more intentional with the books I buy this year. Last year is a combination of quarantine really killing my social life and giving me a lot more time to read, as well as last year was my first year out of college with a full-time job and a salary and dispensable income to spend on books meant I did a lot of impulse book buying last year. And I would like to rein that in this year a lot better and be much more intentional with the books I buy. Just as far as numbers wise, I would like to be able to keep my unread TBR contained to this shelf plus my book of the month TBR shelf, which I have separated just because I think it looks pretty. So yeah, I want to be more intentional and buy fewer books and put more thought into which books I do buy. And so my hope is that by doing a book haul every month, as well as keeping track in my written reading journal that I've started for the first time this year, it'll keep me much more cognizant of exactly how many books I bought and therefore help me buy less impulse buys, as it were. So, that being said, I have 5 books to show you this month. First up is my book of the month choice for February, which was The Four Winds by Kristin. This is an adult historical fiction, and it's one of my most anticipated releases of this year because I have loved all of her historical fiction. Her 2 recent releases are The Great Alone and The Nightingale, and I love both of those, so I was very excited for her new one. This takes place in the Great Depression era in the 30s in Texas, so kind of the heart of the Dust Bowl area of that time, and it follows a woman and her family who are farmers who are trying to survive during this period of American history. And so this is not a time period I've read a lot. I think I haven't read any of it in historical fiction, and I remember learning a little bit about it in my high school history classes, but I don't really know a ton about it, and I haven't really been exposed to it a ton in media, so I'm definitely excited to read this book in kind of a different time period than what I usually read in historical fiction, and I'm excited because it's a Kristin book, and so I expect to love it. So I was very excited when this was one of the book of the month choices for the month because I was like 80th in line for it at the library because new hardbacks are expensive, but book of the month prices are much cheaper than normal new hardback prices, so I was very happy to pick it up there. Next up, I have 2 books that I picked up used from thrift books, and that would be The Reluctant Queen and The Queen of Sorrow by Sarah Beth Durst. These are books 2 and 3 in the Queens of Renthia series. I read the first book, The Queen of Blood, in January and really quite enjoyed it, so I wanted to go ahead and pick up books 2 and 3 so that I could continue and finish the series. So this series takes place in a forest-based world, which I loved. And in this world, all the aspects of nature, the woods, water, air, all have physical spirits that embody the natural world. And these spirits hate humans and want to cause destruction and chaos in the human world. And so they're controlled and kept in check by the queen. And so in the first book, we follow Delena, who is a mildly talented student at one of the academies that train girls on how to do spirit magic, and she wants to learn to do this magic so she can kind of save villages because she had a traumatic experience in her village when she was young with the spirits. And then we also follow Ven, who is a exiled former Queen's champion who chooses Delena to be his mentee, and kind of this mentor-mentee choosing is like the last step of the academy's kind of curriculum as doing this mentorship with the champions. And so he chooses her to train her in her final training in this school. So I, again, really like the first one, and I'm excited to finish the series. Last up is my 2 pre-orders this month, the first of which is All the Tides of Fate by Adeline Grace. This is a young adult fantasy. It is the sequel and final book in the All the Stars and Teeth duology. It came out this month, and I read the first one back last May, I think it was, for an Our Fantasy book club read. And so this series is about a island nation princess named Amora who has been training her whole life as the heir in soul magic to then, once she reaches kind of her test day, her coming of age, to test in this magic and demonstrate her power, to rise to the position of High Animancer on her island, but the day of the test, something goes awry with her kind of magic presentation, and so she has to go on the run, and she ends up teaming up with this pirate who's also kind of on the run, and they decide to help each other out. He's trying to reclaim his lost magic, and she's trying to prove herself to her family and her island people that she is still worthy to ascend to this throne, essentially, despite the bad things that had happened when she tried to demonstrate her magic. And so I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I love nautical settings, and this is very much a nautical island boat setting. And so I was excited and have been anticipating this release since I read the first one last year. So I'm excited to get to this one. And so my last pre-order for the month is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornachev. This is an adult fantasy that is a reimagining of Norse mythology, and it follows a witch who is being punished by Odin, and when she flees, she finds this man in the forest that she falls in love with and finds out he is the trickster god Loki. And she has children with him, and these children, I believe, have some kind of prophesized destiny, and so she's trying to shield herself and them from Odin's watchful eye. So the reviews I've seen of this, the ARC reviews, all sound really good. I've kind of had a resurgence in interest in mythology retellings recently. I think maybe it's because I've seen several that are coming out this year, and it's kind of re-sparked my interest in that. So I'm very excited. I don't know a lot about Norse mythology, and so I'm definitely excited to pick this one up. So if you're interested in any of these books or have read any of them, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video.